Oh, yes.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we're taking a look at the brand new Masters of the Universe Origins Roton Evil Assault Vehicle. So this is a vehicle I've been waiting a while on. I wasn't sure if they were ever going to get around to it, and they finally did, and I believe it's officially part of the 9th wave of MOTU Origins. And just like most of the other figures released this year, it is celebrating the 40th anniversary of Masters of the Universe, He-Man, all that. So, with that said, if you've seen my reviews before, you know how this goes. We're going to take a look at the Roton's packaging, then we'll open it up. We'll get a good look at the vehicle and its multiple different configurations. Naturally, I'll be doing some figure group shots today, and then at the end of the video, I'll get my final thoughts. So the Roton comes in your very large specialized packaging. You get a very, very deep box with a window right here. You can see the Roton inside, and you can see some interesting accessories. You have the blasters, which, you know, the cannon's always been there. Then you have this weird faceplate. And one thing you can't see, because I think it's behind this insert, is a roll cage. Now you can see some artwork of that right here. And I was a little confused by this the first time I saw pictures of this toy. I wasn't really sure what the weird faceplate and the roll cage were all about. And I looked into it. And it's this really cool Easter egg. It's a callback to a 1984, what they called a snap-tight model kit of the Roton that had some noticeable differences from the vintage toy. Namely, this really bizarre-looking red faceplate that's a little more goofy than scary-looking, and then a roll cage. So that's what that is. It's an Easter egg to an old model kit. I think that's really neat. That gives you some variety. Gives you a reason to pick up two if you have the money, because you can have like the regular variation, you can have, you know, the goofy looking variation. And something else I learned is while this faceplate wasn't used on the MOTU Classics version, the roll cage was. So they've kind of been referencing that old obscure model kit for a while now. All right, so up top, we can see this great artwork. You see Skeletor riding in the Roton, and it's just regular Skeletor. Nothing special, no specific variation. You got a Snake Man crawling around down there, little raptor gargoyle thing running away from Skeletor. On this side, we get Screech. So that's that, you know, evil recolor of Zor. I think that's a hint right there, huh? You get what I think is Snake Mountain or something like that. You got He-Man on his little land scooter thing. And then on the back, you adjust the camera because it's a little high up. On the back, we get this really, really nice artwork. Skeletor is continuing to crash through trees and everything. You get Stratos looking rather outraged and flying toward him. And we get that, I don't remember the name of it, like the little eagle spaceship thing. Up top, we get some really cool flavor text, and that reads, "Whether on land or in the air, the Roton and its spinning blades carve a path of destruction." So, unlike some other vehicles, this one is specifically for evil characters. Even though it's got, you know, a variant that you can switch it to that's always been known to be ridden by evil warriors, never the heroic ones. All right, we get some cool action feature callouts. It says remove blasters for surprise attacks, which is weird. Weird way of like framing that. I guess you're saying if you take the blasters off, he could claim to be coming in peace in his giant saw blade destruction vehicle. Sure, I guess. Attach roll cage to protect pilot, and then attach faceplate to intimidate enemies, which, again, I find kind of funny because, like, this faceplate is not nearly as scary looking as that one, so sure, I guess. All right, down here we get our cross-sells, we get the Roton itself, and then we get our standard assortment figures. We get our 2000X He-Man, our 2000X Skeletor, Pighead, and then Mantenna from the Horde. So, quite a nice variety. We are getting yet another He-Man and Skeletor, but they are at least different variations compared to, you know, your standard vintage ones. Pighead being a Sunman original character. Now here he's actually being considered part of the Evil Warriors. I don't know if that's accurate. You'd think he'd be his own faction, but no, maybe. And then Mantenna, like I said, is in the Horde. So a good amount of variety here. I really like that. So as always, the packaging on this is superb. Like, as much as I am a huge Transformers fan and I like Hasbro stuff, Mattel just kicks their butt when it comes to the packaging. They put so much effort into it. Plus, they actually still give you nice windows to look at your toy. So, yeah. Doesn't feel as cheap as what Hasbro's doing right now. Okay, now we get our Roton out of the box, and you can see I've already gone ahead and attached the guns just because I don't really see any point leaving them off. You can also see the roll cage here on the left and the alternate model kit based face on the right. Looking at the figure itself, it's got a lot of what are either sticker or tampo decals. I think they're stickers, just much better applied than some other toys. So he's got these like really cool bloodshot eyes with the red pupils and all these cool tech details all along the sides, the top, the back. It's got wheels, and it looks like the back two wheels are rubberized. These are also the ones that do the spinning mechanism. This is just a plastic wheel. And look at that. It's actually got a little port for a flight stand, much like the ones that come with other MOTU vehicles. It, however, does not include a flight stand, so that does mean, unfortunately, you will have to, cannibalize a flight stand from something else. Not ideal. Would have been nice if they included it, but at least there is that compatibility, so if you want to have this thing flying around rather than some other toy, or maybe buy an extra so you can do it, I mean, it's up to you. And I'll make sure to actually pull out a flight stand to show you guys what that looks like. So the play feature, you take it, you just roll it along, makes this very satisfying click, goes forward and reverse, and it just makes your little saw blade things spin around. Just a fun, simple little toy. This is during the days when toys could just be unabashedly fun and just really kind of silly. So I really like this thing. I think it's really cool. One thing I want to point out with the roll cage, it was interesting. So mine actually came with this entire piece of plastic attached to it, and this is part of the plastic sprue that this thing gets cut out from. So I mean, I've had mold flash and stuff before, but this is the first time I actually had just a giant piece of the sprue still attached. It was attached right there. You might see where the edge is a little rough. Now, luckily, I just so happen to have a pair of sprue cutters because I dabble with the Flame Toys model kits every once in a while. So that was weird. It was interesting. I wonder how common of an occurrence that is. Maybe they're all like that. Who knows? Maybe there's like an issue at the factory in the way they cut this thing. So yeah, that just came that way. I thought it was interesting. I've never seen that before. Okay, before we start attaching accessories and everything, this thing needs a pilot. Now, I know the box art and all that shows Skeletor, but frankly, that Skeletor, I mean, that guy has been in like half my MOTU videos at this point. Now, I was thinking about putting the new Terror Claw Skeletor in here, but because of his little back harness thing, he really doesn't fit. So I'm going to go ahead and take Triclops, because he is somebody who has been shown driving this thing around, and he just fits in here really well. So you take Triclops. Any weapon-holding hands that a figure might possess fit very nicely around the little handles here, and the open hands just kind of lay over it. Still kind of looks like he's holding it. So now you can get him cruising around in style. And really cool in his wicked-looking Roton. So we have that. We can also go ahead and attach the accessories. So let's do just the roll cage first. Find it easier to start from the back. So there's 4 little pegs here. 2 for the back, 2 for the front. Seems easier to get the back ones in. And then just, kind of move the front around until it goes in there. Like so. So that just comes down. You still see him hanging out in there. So you can just leave it like this, and this is kind of like the MOTU Classics version, where it's the normal face, but it's got a roll cage attached. That looks pretty cool. If you want to go with the roll cage, make it look more complete. Or we can go ahead and attach this thing. And it just plugs up the same kind of pegs. All right, now we have a Nintendo Mega Man Mini Boss. That is 100% what this reminds me of, like those goofy, large robot enemies that, they weren't the edge stage boss, just like something you would fight halfway in between. These really big, freaky faces. 100% that's what this looks like. So, it's cool. I mean, I don't prefer it over the default face, because the default face is just more awesome looking. But I like the callback. I really do appreciate the Easter egg there. And it gives you some variety. If you buy more than one of these, you can have one with the old face, you can have one with the new face, just have different models of this vehicle. Maybe you can make the doofy face one a heroic version. You could always headcanon it that way. But either way, it looks really neat. Now the last thing we need to do is attach an accessory that doesn't come with this. So I've gone and pilfered a flight stand from one of my not air raiders, sky sleds. And it should be the same type of connector. So we're gonna go ahead and push it in. Carefully. Is that not the same connector type? I thought it was. Huh. A different one? Hang on. May need to go back to the drawing board. Okay, we're gonna try this one. This is the flight stand that comes with the Wind Raider. It's got a bigger peg, so I think this is the right one. Let's find out. Oh, there we go. Satisfying click. Let's go ahead and adjust our camera a little bit, my guy. All right, there we go. Works pretty well, and it's a pretty sturdy stand too. You can ratchet and everything, so you can point it downward, point it upward, keep it level, turn it, whatever you want to do. So that's pretty neat. You can make the Roton fly around if you want to. Now, because this seems to be the only stand that works with it, it really, even more than before, it makes me wish this guy just came with its own stand. Because while physically, this works, it doesn't match it, right? Because you got like the crest of the like guard on here. This is supposed to be, a like fitting an armament from Castle Grayskull. Doesn't make much sense for a Roton to be hanging out on it. So I don't know. It's a bit of a thematic mishmash. But again, it's better than just not having the ability. Because I wasn't planning on putting this on a stand anyway, because Rotons are usually seen on the ground. But hey, you have an option there, and options are always good. And if you want to get really creative, you could probably customize a stand for it, so there's always that. And this completes our brief look at the new MOTU Origins Roton. I think this is a very cool little vehicle. It's very similar to the others, where it's mostly a static piece and then has some sort of like an action gimmick or something. In this case, ratcheted rotating saw blades, which I think is one of the cooler ones out there. And it's enjoyable. It is exactly what you'd expect. It's a recreation of a fairly simple toy from the 80s, so don't expect there to be a whole lot going on here. But it does get fleshed out by the added accessories, the flight stand capability, and just the whole mechanism that makes the blade spin. It's just really nice. Plus, the quality on this thing is just great. Like, the stickers are all expertly applied. They're not hanging over the edges. Something that, for whatever reason, Hasbro could not do with the Transformers during Prime Wars, where those stickers were all over the place, peeling. Mattel seems to have that figured out, so it looks really, really good. So I personally recommend this thing. It costs about what Stridor costs, $30, $35 or so. And I think it's money well spent. It's an iconic vehicle from, the Master of the Universe franchise. It's one of those ones you just have to get to complete a diorama or something. And it's a lot of fun. And, with the inclusion of the new accessories, you can mix and match parts, right? You've got a total of, 4 different combinations you can have with this. You could have a bear, you could have just the cage, just the mask, or both. So you could have 4 different looking Rotons on your display. A lot of play value here, a lot of collectability, and I really enjoy it. So I think, if you pick it up, you'll enjoy it as much as I did. Of course, that is just how I feel about the Roton, so now I want to know what you all think of it. Does this thing live up to your expectations? Was this one of those must-haves that was on your checklist of, MOTU vehicles? Or do you not want this? Either you're just not interested in the design, you think it costs too much, maybe you don't like the way it turned out, even though it is pretty darn faithful to the original. Any and all feedback is always welcome in the comments section. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to toss it a like. Let YouTube know you want to see more stuff like this. If you do want to see more like this, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you always get a heads up when I post something new. I thank you for joining me for this look at the brand new Masters of the Universe Origins Roton. And with all that said, I will see you next time.